In this three-part video essay, I aim to explore the intricacies of millennial and Gen Z comedy and how it is different from older generations, particularly through the lens of social media. Now, talking about comedy is difficult, thanks in part to the inherent subjectivity of the medium. So this episode is centered around the question, what makes something funny? With some light philosophy sprinkled in. Why do we find humor funny? Why do we laugh at other people's misfortune?
Sweaty.
Gonna cry, Cars?
Just cry and end it.
No, stop!
So
Freud seems to suggest it is a reaction from our unconscious. In The Starkly Decisive Art of Contemporary Comedy, a piece by Freud's writer Liane Tillman, she says, "To be funny, a joke must surprise you, though some people just won't laugh, fearing the exposure of their unconscious, or they just won't get it. Or the joke gets them. Jokes are funny that way also. It's said that if you know the punchline of a joke, it's not funny." Now, there are many arguments to why we find things funny. Freud suggests, again, that the humor stems from the unconscious. But there's also the argument to make that we laugh at others' suffering. That's why we laugh at slapstick. It is the reason the Darwin Awards exists, so that we can laugh at the suffering of others. As Diana Mahoney, a humor researcher, puts it in an ABC News article, there's a lot of aggression and ill will in certain types of humor. I laugh in triumph and superiority at the foibles and stupidity of other people.
You're gonna keep your mouth shut about it, Morty, because the world is full of idiots that don't understand what's important, and they'll tear us apart, Morty. But if you stick with me, I'm gonna accomplish great things, Morty, and you're gonna be part of them. And together we're gonna run around, Morty, we're gonna do all kinds of wonderful things, Morty. Just you and me, Morty. The outside world is our enemy, Morty. We're the only friends we've got, Morty. It's just Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty and...
Although we sometimes don't realize it, much of the comedy we're used to relies on slapstick. Peter McGraw said in an excellent TEDx video that I strongly recommend you watch,
Let's start with the theory.
we laugh at the benign and the
Caleb Warren and I
violation.
have crafted a theory of humor that we call the benign violation theory. The benign violation theory integrates existing humor theory and builds on work by Tom Veitch to say that humor occurs when and only when three conditions are satisfied. A situation is a violation, the situation is benign, and both of those appraisals occur simultaneously.
This is why we find Louis C.K.'s SNL skit so funny, because it analyzes what we deem as acceptable.
Because child molesters are very tenacious people. They love molesting childs. It's crazy. It's like their favorite thing. I mean, it's so crazy because when you consider the risk in being a child molester, speaking not of even the damage you're doing, but the risk, there is no worse life available to a human than being a caught child molester. And yet they still do it, which you can only really surmise that it must be really good. I mean, from their point of view, not ours, but from their point of view, it must be amazing for them to risk so much.
There's an excellent video from Nerd Writer 1 talking about why this clip is so significant. It'll be linked down below with all the other sources. This is why we find dark humor so appealing. However, due to censorship on television in the 20th century, we really had no outlet to scratch that really dark itch. And although this time brought some revolutionary new pieces in comedy, we didn't see nearly as much absurd humor as we see now. There's many theories about how when we have this instantaneous access to information, it translates into our comedy because now we can see the world for what it really is, and it's all of its nonsensicality. And our humor adapts to that.